thing is showing at the time. I'm not sure which one is going.
Well, good
Okay,
morning.
so the
Welcome.
meeting's officially being recorded. Oh, excuse me, Maurice.
No, that's important announcements. You go right ahead. As Kim said, this meeting is being recorded and will be posted to the website once after everything is reviewed and cataloged and minutes. And then you can find it later on the website. Great place to see all the information. And with that, we'll kick off the meeting. Thank you for joining us here live in person and all you little boxes across the state of Texas and beyond. Thank you for joining us. And do we need to do any Teams reviews or whatever? If you have questions, raise hand, whatever, speak up at any point in time.
I'm trying to see, Kim will probably have to help us online, maybe. I might be able to see when people are raising their hands. So yeah, if you have a question, you can use the little reaction at the top. Please use the chat. All that good stuff.
Yes, so feel free to use the chat on or the raised hand to try to get our attention. And if not, just speak up. We'll try to give everyone a turn. Here in the room, Kathy is here hosting us.
Kathy Brooks, TTI.
Maurice Manus, your chairman.
Tom Kreger, motorcycle enthusiast, MSF instructor since 2022.
Yes, sir.
Kurt Beard, Texas Motorsports.
MSF instructor for too long.
David Lewis, Fallen Rider Foundation, Brazos, Bryan College Station, vice president.
Crystal Rear, I also work at TTI and I'll be presenting a little bit later.
Kurt Lyles, I'm a recovering naval officer and former motorcycle instructor, and I am a motorcycle enthusiast.
David Jones, program director, Safety on Two Wheels, MSF instructor.
And Keith Ravel, program manager for MRH Rider Training in Houston.
Welcome, welcome.
Online, want to go around? Just go left to right there. Joel, you there with anybody else?
This is Joel Morris over at Sanjak Stubbs Harley Riding Academy. Robert will be here in a little bit.
Blake?
Blake Harvey. I'm a riding instructor with Safety on Two Wheels out of Houston.
And Christopher?
You should go to West.
Oh, I know.
I see your mic on, Christopher, but we don't hear you.
How about now?
That
Yeah.
worked.
I'm Christopher Gray. I'm with TxDOT with the Traffic Safety Division. I am one of 2 statewide traffic incident management coordinators.
Elisa?
Lisa Smetana with the Abilene MPO.
Oh, welcome. Emma?
I am the traffic safety intern for the Lufkin district for TxDOT.
Awesome. Gregory? Hunter?
Yes, ma'am. Gregory Hunter with TxDOT traffic safety specialist in the Dallas district. My partner, Ms. Bernadine Moore, will be joining me here shortly.
Awesome, thank you. And then Gregory Todd. We had 2 of you back to back.
Gregory Todd, I'm from Kempner, Texas. I'm with the Tri-County Toy Run of Central Texas and CMA and Ride Adventure Bikes and Dual Sports.
Wow, welcome. And Prirana?
Hi, I'm Prerna and I'm with the Road User Safety Program at TTI.
And Joe Morris.
Greg Ryder, MC Houston.
Thank you. Josh?
Hi, I'm Josh. I am a rider coach.
You have to speak up, Josh. I think you said you're a rider coach, and I'm pretty sure you're from Houston. So thanks for joining.
Yeah. Thank you.
Rain?
Good morning, everybody. I'm based in Dallas. I've been an editor and journalist in the motorcycle media industry for 21 years now. And Robert Fila, who's based in Houston, he's the editor for Thunder Press, and I have recently launched a few months ago a new online newsletter that you are welcome to join. It's free, called Two Wheel Media. And Kathy, if it's okay, I can share the link in the chat.
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead. Ricardo?
Hi, yes, I'm a rider coach in Central Texas area.
Welcome. Stephanie?
Hi, I'm Stephanie Carvajal Tilano. I'm the traffic safety specialist for TxDOT in the El Paso district.
And then last, but certainly not least, our program manager, Ren James.
Hello, everyone. My name is Van James Mayfield. I'm the program manager with TxDOT. Good morning. I hope everyone's having a good day.
Thank you, sir. It's great to hear. We had a lot of tech stop folks here today, along with some mix of enthusiasts and instructors. So welcome to everyone. Thank you. Anything to add, Mr. Maurice?
Oh, no. Good. Welcome, welcome.
Oh, what are we looking at today?
Here's our agenda. We have a safety minute. I don't know. You're gonna run on that one? Okay.
So hearing a lot lately about speed and crazy stunts being done on the streets by motorcyclists, multiple fatalities, most of them being motorcycle only fatalities that were speed related. I went in and I asked our guru Marcy to pull some trend data for us specifically on speed related crashes for motorcyclists. And of course, since 2020, it's been a trend to go up for the counts of crashes and the counts of riders involved in speed related. These are just speed related motorcycle crashes that she pulled. And even though through 2024, we've been on a rise, it looks like in 2025, we're getting to the last quarter, we might not be on the rise. We might actually be coming down. So that is very exciting. I hope we can keep that trend going, but it is still too many crashes. And over 58% of these are motorcyclist only, which means the rider is choosing to ride beyond their skill level, condition level, whatever. So we as motorcyclists, we as riders, we can make that choice and control our speed to reduce our risk levels. So this one is the count of the actual riders in injury severity for fatal injuries. The other one was for all crashes. This one, again, we've had that peak, but we are a little over half. We're over halfway where we were last year, but hopefully we will not increase that anymore. So enjoy the next ride by keeping your speeds under control and riding to your limit. Enjoy the ride this time and next time. That's my safety minute.
Thank you. And yeah, that could be some good news for a change, right?
Yeah.
If the trend holds.
But even for the fatalities, 52%, it's the rider's choice. So let's make good choices and keep our speeds down. I was looking for some stats on how speed increased in speed increases injury and fatality, but I didn't have time, couldn't find it very easily. But even just reducing your speed gives you more time to respond to situations you're in and not just react or overreact that might cause a crash. So.
Thank you. Task force update.
The task force, I know Maurice did everything he could to try to be at those meetings since he's playing double chair this year. But the task force sought to look at unlicensed riders. So we pulled out some crash statistics and pulled together some information, and then we partnered with the Texas Municipal Courts Education Center, and they helped us to develop an educational piece to the municipal courts across the state. So they provided to the municipal courts information about unlicensed riders, and then also about what the judges can do if a rider is cited for not having a motorcycle license. They can go to the judge, and the judge can give them, it's very specific on their wording, deferred disposition in order to take a course, get their license, to settle that ticket or that citation. It is up to the judge, so there's no guarantees on any of this. But we did want to educate the judges, because what we heard from the Municipal Courts Education Center was with driver ed, if you have a ticket and you say you go take defensive driving in lieu of that, they know exactly what course to take. But they didn't have any guidance on what is considered a motorcycle safety course that meets the requirements that are within the law as to what they can take. So we did that, and this helps educate them to let them know. And then the second piece of that was a handout that they can give to riders that come to their court that says, this is how you get your license. So that was a two-piece. And that's what was developed along with some social media pieces, graphics that can go out. So we also talked to law enforcement, because that was our other focus group, but they were like, we don't want to, one, necessarily be handing things out at a ticket stop. But the second part of that was, we're already fighting a challenge of perception by the general public. And we don't want to tell the general public, here at a stop, you can go get this deferred disposition, and then they go to the judge and the judge says no, and now they're mad at the cop, the law enforcement officer that pulled them over. So like, we don't want to get into that mess. But we did provide them with the information that it was communicated to the municipal courts, and we provided them with that handout. So if they want to give that handout or provide it virtually, digitally, to anybody that comes in, then they have that information and they can share that at a traffic stop. They also had a great idea to do a pilot test in a local jurisdiction where everybody's on board. The officers, law enforcement, the local schools, and the judges, the municipal courts, so that if they give the ticket, they go to the court, they get the deferred, the school provides them with the class, and then we can follow up and interview those folks that go through that whole process. Is something we might look to in the future. But then, of course, we work on government time, so look at that for the next 2 or 3 years out, where we can maybe do that.
It's not next year's room.
We'll get to that.
Okay, sorry.
My head might explode if you ask me too early.
Okay. All right.
We'll get to that one. So this was also shared with TxDOT's law enforcement STEP program manager, Larry Krantz. And so he has it and he can share it with those. And those those of you TSSs that are on the call today, those should have come through some of your subgrantees that are using the STEP program as well. So if not, if you'd like to help us share that information. I also sent the information to the Texas Prosecutors Association. So maybe we can ask them to share it with their members. So the task force also suggested putting just the information sheet, the how to obtain your motorcycle license handout in dealerships, provide it to lawyers and other places. So anybody in the coalition that wants to help us in those efforts, I'll be very happy to share this. We'll put this information on. If it's not already on there, we will add it to the resources page on Look, Learn, Live. And anybody can download it or point people to it in the future. Questions so far? I kind of went through that fast.
And do you have some of those here for the ones that are in attendance by chance?
I do not have any printed.
All right, just check.
I can get, if you want to throw some, or I can,
But we can,
where's the file at? And I'll send it to the printer and I'll run and grab it.
I don't think you have access to the file.
Okay.
But I might during, yeah.
Those deals, I think sometimes like Scott Simon's like, make sure that the ones that are here leave with a parting gift.
Yes, and I had a whole stack of parting gifts I could have brought down for you, and I totally intended to, including my notes for going through this, and I left it upstairs. So during the break, I might run upstairs and get some parting gifts for you. These are the graphics, the social media graphics that were posted or created, and we'll also get those put out. They did go out through the Look, Learn, Live social media channels and initially, and they're on a cycle to continue periodically as well. Trying to remember if this was one of the ones that got a high feedback when it went out on our social media. Legislative update. Last time we met was right before, it was right at the end of the regular session, and so things hadn't necessarily been signed yet. So these are the ones that will be going into effect or did go into effect 4 days ago. So the court dismissals, property owners, this is for the school owners, the motorcycle safety training school owners, the property liability went through, so that should be helpful to get some. We've had a lot of pushback this last year over property owners saying, we don't want you here.
Keith, you want to add anything on? I know you've got a long.
Well, it took 3 legislative sessions to
Yes.
get that through.
Yeah.
But I'm delighted that they went ahead and voted that in this time. But yeah, that's the #1 excuse that we were given. You know, down in Galveston County and everything else, nobody was willing to accept risk. Hopefully this now will be something we can do to fix that.
So, and thank you for all your hard work on it.
Sure.
And then the memorial markers, previously it was been a red cross for the highway memorial markers for motorcycle crashes, fatalities that are done through TxDOT. Used to be a red cross. They now have, the department has to come up with options of what can be put on those. I believe they're up for 2 years, 1 year. There is a fee involved and they're up for 1 year, and then you get whoever sponsored it or paid for it in the first place gets the plaque back. So some people were interested in that.
If I can add something, my brother died in a motorcycle wreck 3 years ago. And I was able to get a hold of Maurice. He guided me through, go to TxDOT, get the sign. I was the requester. We submitted that document to the state. They called me a couple of days before and said, we're going to put up a sign. Would you like to be there? We were able to be there. And then it's up for 1 year. And they called and said, we're going to take it down next week. Do you want to be there? Yes, I would like to be there. So very, very great. It was great. A good experience, very good experience. If the motorcyclist is not at fault.
Yeah, and that's one thing that they did add in this legislation is that they cannot be impaired. If there is any impairment found on the motorcyclist at the time of the crash, they're not eligible. So. It is not a single vehicle crash. It is a multi-vehicle crash where the other party is at fault, I believe, if I remember correctly. And my notes are upstairs that I printed out. Any other thoughts or comments? I did look at the session 1 and 2. I don't know that there's a third out to see if there was anything motorcycle that I didn't find. So I think they're just looking at other things. So without further delay, then we will turn the time over to Christopher Gray. And if you want to start sharing yours, I'll stop sharing mine. And then they'll also give me a chance to check in the chat.
Can you see the screen okay?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
I didn't have this big, long introduction for you. So other than.
Okay, I'll take care of that. I love to hear myself talk. Like I said, initially, my name is Christopher Gray. I work with the Texas Department of Transportation. I'm in their traffic safety division, and I'm one of 2 statewide traffic incident management coordinators. As the TIM coordinator, my primary responsibility is to travel the great state of Texas, where we teach a best practices course to first responders in reference to clearing traffic incidents from the roadway. Prior to that, my background is in law enforcement. I spent 24 years with the Austin Police Department, retired about 3 years ago now, and had grandiose ideas of long distance motorcycle trips all over the country and living out of a P.O. box. And I got to do my first 2 with a good group of buddies. And then when I called them to schedule the third one, they reminded me that they're all still employed full-time with the Austin Police Department and promptly told me no. So I thought with my dreams shattered, I might as well find a job again. And I got a call from my predecessor here in the same position that I was in, telling me about an opportunity as the TIM coordinator to take long road trips, albeit in a car and not on a motorcycle, to listen to myself talk for 4 hours at a time to first responders, wanting to give something back to the first responder community without wearing a badge and a gun again. I took the position. I've been at TxDOT for about 2 years now. For those that are with TxDOT, know that every Monday we have a Take 5 for Safety meeting. During one of those Take 5 for Safety meetings, I had just come back from a road trip and thought people might be interested to know in some of the preparation that goes into taking a motorcycle trip. That had kind of morphed into presenting this at a couple of traffic safety coalition meetings. And that's what brings me to you now. So let me start by saying it is not the way, it is just a way to consider motorcycle safety and road trip preparedness. But I have found it to be very successful. On a personal note, I just came back from a 4,500 mile road trip that I made on 2 separate bikes because I bought a new bike in the middle of the trip, as we have all done at some point. And just got back Monday. So still a little bit sore, but that's okay. All right. So first and foremost, before you even start the trip, you want to make sure that you properly inspect your bike prior to each ride. Listening to the introductions in the room, I think I'm probably just preaching to the choir here, but maybe it serves as a reminder to somebody online that's listening or someone that's thinking about getting into riding motorcycles. But we, as you guys know, we use an acronym T-CLOCS, which stands for tires. Want to make sure that they're properly inflated, free of cracks with good tread life. Your controls, things like your handlebars, levers, pedals, and cables are all within working order. Verify that all your lights are operational. Oil and other fluids, you want to make sure that you check the levels, that they are in good use still with good life left in them, that your chassis is free of cracks and damage, and any loose bolts. I'm a torque spec guru. I tighten everything down to specs according to service manual. And I do it every time, even if I'm just removing the saddlebags for something, I will re-torque them. Maybe I've got a little bit of OCD, but who knows? It makes me feel better. And that your kickstand or side stand is in good working order. Next, want to make sure that you're wearing good personal protective equipment, some type of helmet. I prefer a full face helmet, but that's just my personal preference to protect your head from falls and roadway debris. Not too long ago, there was a motorcyclist that was doing everything right, riding within their limits, within the speed limit on the roadway, and was struck and killed by a piece of debris that was kicked up by another vehicle. They were not wearing a helmet. So it's just one of the things. I know most of us think of helmets and think of it as protection from a fall, but it's also there to serve as protection from debris from the roadway. A jacket that protects your skin from the sun, that protects your skin from the roadway. I do wear Kevlar lined jeans every time I go on a long distance trip. Gloves to protect your hand. Obviously boots to protect your feet and ankles, and always pack rain and cold weather gear. The weather can change pretty quickly, and depending on the time of the year, riding wet and cold can lead to hypothermia and impaired judgment and other health conditions that you don't want to happen on a motorcycle while you're doing 75 miles an hour down the highway. This is not the coolest look, and that is something we're all concerned with. I think that's probably part of the reason a lot of us got into motorcycling is because, let's be honest, it looks cool. It hasn't helped me in my personal life get married or anything like that, but I'm holding out hope. But it will protect your skin in the event of a crash, and that is what we want to do. This is a personal experience of mine. Don't let the it's only going to be a short ride fool you. I was going on a short ride 4 Halloweens ago, and a vehicle pulled out from a private driveway well past the oh darn point. I'll censor my language because I'm not sure who all is in the room. And ran directly into the side of me. I didn't have a chance to stop. I had the right of way. He just pulled out from an intersection at the last minute, said he couldn't see me. Ran right into the right side of me. My leg took the impact, broke my leg. It ultimately led to my retirement from the police world. I did have a helmet on, I had gloves on, but I was riding in just a t-shirt because I was just going around the block. Rolled about 65 feet or so before I came to a stop. And while the jacket may not look cool, the road rash isn't cool either. I mean, the initial road rash isn't bad. It's the sloughing off of all the scab and skin later that's pretty uncomfortable. When I go on a long distance trip, I always leave an itinerary with someone. I let them know on my intended travel roadways, the path I intend to take, how long I intend to go for each day, how many hours I plan on riding each day. There's a lot of apps out there like Life 360 that you can share with people your location. I have an Apple AirTag that I just throw in a saddlebag with multiple people having access to that AirTag so they can track the movement of a bike. And this is for the purposes of TxDOT, but this is not an endorsement of Apple products. It's just what I use when I go on a trip. Again, this presentation started out geared towards motorcyclists and non-motorcyclists. So we cover the universal distress signal, or what's considered that for most of us. If you see a motorcycle on the road and there's a helmet placed on the ground, this is generally a sign that the motorcyclist is experiencing some kind of trouble, whether that's mechanical, medical, or otherwise. If you're so inclined and find it in your heart to do so and you want to pull over, that is generally what that means. I'm not saying you have to pull over, that you should pull over. Your own personal safety should come first. But if it's someone on the side of the road that needs help, studies have showed that it only takes one person to start to jump in to help before a lot of people will follow suit. So I encourage everybody, even if you're not a motorcyclist, be the person that makes a difference, that can change the mindset of people around you, that want to jump in to help our fellow mankind. This is just some stuff that I take with me on the trips that I go on. You should take a toolkit that's specific to your motorcycle. If you ride a metric bike, but you have a standard toolkit, that's not going to help you much. I mean, it may get you by, but it's not going to be the most efficient. I take plenty of spare fuses with me for myself and the other guys that I ride with, and then always have some kind of fully charged wireless or a tire inflation device that you can plug in. But should you break down, this is coming from the traffic incident management world, you want to protect your scene first before you start laying on the ground trying to find out what's underneath the motorcycle that's making that noise, or before you start working on trying to repair a tire to get you to a tire shop. Protect your scene first and foremost. That looks something like this. So the idea of protecting your scene is to move the traveling public out of their intended lane of travel and into a lane of travel that's going to make the scene safe for you, the people that you're there with, whoever else may have stopped. I carry a set of electronic road flares left over from my days at the police department that I will set up in that tapered formation that you can see there on the left. They're pretty bright. The batteries last quite some time. Just press the button and you can turn them on. I just pressed the button once, but there are definitely different modes that you can cycle through. They're also magnetic on the back. If you ever ran into an issue and had your tail lights go out, you can stick it to the fender so that at least you have some rear lighting while you try to get off the highway to get to a safer location to assess what's wrong and try to fix what's wrong. These flares can be placed at every other skip line on the highway. It just gives the traveling public advance notice that something in front of them has changed in their normal situation and that they should start thinking about moving over into another lane of traffic so that you're protected. Even if you're off to the shoulder, it doesn't hurt to set up flares in a taper behind you to provide that adequate warning, especially if you're in, low light conditions. My bike won't start. Always carry some kind of jump box or booster box to assist with a dead battery. I've used it more on other people's bikes and other people's cars than I have my own. But sometimes if you're in a cooler climate and your bike's been parked outside the hotel all night long, that can affect the battery. So you just want to have that available to you. It's all about trying to enjoy the road trip. Those are better spent on the road than sitting in a hotel parking lot trying to assess what's going on. This is something that everybody that I travel with carries, but it's just a tire repair kit. I know they say that you're not supposed to ride on a plug tire with motorcycles, although there seems to be a lot of differing opinions about that back and forth. But this will at least get you off the highway to a safer location or a shop where you can make a fully adequate repair. Self-aid and buddy aid, I think this is something that we as a community lack. It didn't become a big thing in the police department until about 5 or 6 years ago. But I do think it's something that's important. First responder agencies are struggling now with manpower. If you're riding rural roads to get from one location to another, it could be even longer. So waiting on someone to come fix something for you could only jeopardize your survivability of an incident. If you have the capabilities and the training, more importantly, I suggest that everybody get some kind of trauma kit to fix everything from scrapes and boo-boos to traumatic injury as well. For you or for the people that you ride with, or if you're putting a lot of miles, you are bound to come across a crash at some point. Just passing by it and not stopping to help, that could be the old first responder in me, but that wouldn't sit well with me. So I want to have the equipment and the tools and the training to be able to address those type of situations. I think last but not least is attracting attention to yourself. Wear light or brightly colored clothing. Doesn't look as cool, but it does draw some attention to you. Ride with your high beams on, especially during daylight hours. And should you be involved in a crash and leave the roadway, we recently had a detective, they think he suffered a medical emergency before his bike left the roadway. He was found a little while later by a nurse that was on her way to work. That crash was ultimately fatal, but you do want to have some way to signal passerbys. So in my pocket, I carry this Fox rescue whistle and a small LED light that if I absolutely had to, and it was my last resort, that whistle is going to be way louder than you can yell. And then a term you're all familiar with is to ride like you're invisible. Ride safe, look twice. Don't rely on the public to look twice. On a personal note, I talk with my kids all the time, like not assuming, but just looking at most of you in the room, we're from about the same generation. Most of you probably remember playing Slug Bug or whatever game, whatever you called it, where you looked for old Volkswagen Beetles going down the highway. When my kids were younger, we played the same game, but we looked for motorcycles. And I think that that really helps the next generation coming up to be on the lookout for motorcycles as they're driving down the road. We're already harder to see. We're much smaller. Our brake lights are generally lower than that of a passenger car or one of the big, trucks that you see on Texas highways a lot. There's, additional equipment and technology coming out with brake lights that go on the back of your helmet that have well, don't get me to lying about the technology, but it can detect movement. So moves the brake light up into the view of the drivers behind you. A lot of manufacturers now are equipping motorcycles with blind spot detection as well as a tailgate warning. So the technology is improving for motorcycles. It's slower than compared to the standard passenger car industry. So if other people aren't going to look twice for you as a motorcyclist, and we should look twice as well when we're changing lanes and merging into traffic and off of the highway and that kind of stuff. With that, that is all I've got.
Thank you. Lots of good information. I want to know where you get those electronic flares.
You can order them on Amazon.
Of course.
Amazon's got everything.
You don't need it.
Did anybody else have any questions? Oh, crickets? Oh. Okay.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody, for your time.
Thank you very much, Chris. Appreciate you.
Definitely.
Good job.
Um, There was something else that came up that now has gone out my brain. Oh, you talked about the trauma kits and the training, and I think that's something, at our forum in this past year, we had Stop the Bleed came out and did. I think we have 14 or 16 people that did the training during that. And then we also have accident scene management, that came out to there, and she's always willing to go anywhere if you have a group together that can do, wants to do a training specific for motorcycle trauma.
It's a great course too.
Is, I'm sorry.
And Chris, we are trying to make, instead of slug bug, we are trying to make biker bump a thing where they do a fist bump. Kids do a fist bump every time they see motorcycles.
Oh, that's awesome.
And those of you that stick around to the end of the meeting get to see the link. Yeah, more to come on that one. You had something, David?
Yeah, we're putting together a advanced, basic and advanced course sometime end of October, 1st of November.
With ASI?
There in the Houston area. So I've already figured out where we can hold it, and so we're just putting together the timing. She's getting with the typical law firm, Wiley and Wiley, the sponsor a lot, obviously, if they're willing to do that again, to keep the price down. So it would be actually 2 days, we can hold it to 30 people.
So can we share your contact information for that?
Sure can.
Okay.
For accident scene management.
Yeah, we teach you how to keep the biker alive till the real people get out and build on it.
Well, thank you all. I think we're just a couple minutes ahead of schedule, but that just means that we get
A little bit longer break, right?
Maurice votes for a longer break.
Well, that way you won't have to run up to the office. You can walk up to the office.
So yeah, we will be right back.
The agenda says.
It says 10 after, so.
Okay.
Do you want to do the full 20 minutes or do you want to just do
You want to make 15?
15 minutes?
15 minutes at 11:05. We will start back up. So enjoy your break.
Your clock.
Yep.
Everybody in the room, I printed out those forms so that
I gave her a break on that one.
Sorry, I missed that one.
But it will be covered by the end. If not, we will ask that question again. All right, are we back recording again? I believe at C11:05. Thank you.
Yes, we are.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Thank you.
Set up for Miss Crystal to give us an update on our unlicensed to ride project that was initiated by Paige, who left TTI, taken on by Cody, who left TTI. So Crystal gets to wrap it up for us.
Be hanging out for a while. With TTI.
You're not, this isn't gonna drive you to leave here, is it? I mean, one of those.
they're transferring it out of, so, I'm in the Center for Alcohol and Drug Education Studies.
Okay.
And they're transferring it over to Kathy and her group, so
Oh,
it is being taken, like, I'm not going to be on this project aside from helping.
Yes, you are.
you will continue to be on this project, believe me.
At some level.
Yes, yes.
Okay, well, anyway, for those of you online, my name is Crystal O'Rear, and I'm, like I just said, I'm in the Center for Alcohol and Drug Education Studies here at Texas A&M Transportation Institute. I don't think Kathy planned it this way, but she somehow managed to get 2 former cops to present for this. So that is my background. I was a police officer for 9 years here in the city of Bryan. I did not retire, but being a police officer is one of those jobs where it's fun until it's not. For me, it wasn't fun anymore, so it's time to leave. So therefore, I'm here. Same kind of thing as Mr. Gray. I wanted to continue in the traffic safety realm in some way, shape, or form, and that landed me here at TTI. So that's a little bit about me and my background, and we'll jump into this. So the Unlicensed to Ride project is one that we have had since the fiscal year 2019. So this is what, 5-6 years that we've had it now. And basically what it is it's a way to promote riders to, oh, that didn't work right. There we go. You know what? Even us youngins can't do technology. To encourage more riders to complete motorcycle safety training and to continue promoting a culture of rider safety in Texas. And how we do this, there's a couple of ways. Again, my computer's not working. As a research specialist, of course, we have to do statistics because without statistics, we don't have a reason to do research. But one of the things that we did as part of the grant this year was we designed a new fact sheet that highlights the importance of the training. So this will have number of operators, and actually I think this is from 2020 to 2024 is where these numbers come from. But it all has to reference the information that came from DPS and DMV with unlicensed riders. This fact sheet, you've heard looklearnlive.org a couple of times already. It is also there. So if you want it to be able to hand out for anybody, you want to take a look at it, that's where you can find it. So another thing that we do is a postcard mailing campaign. So the purpose of this mailing campaign, it was first done, I believe, in Michigan. And Cody, as Kathy mentioned earlier, was at a conference and he heard the guy speaking about this program that they did in Michigan. And basically what they did is they looked at the number of motorcycles that were registered and they matched them to the number of matched them to licenses that didn't have a Class M endorsement, and then sent out a mailer to those that didn't have a license but had a motorcycle to try to encourage them to get licensed. So that's where the idea came about. We took it and ran with it, and it's been pretty successful so far. So here we have, you see the first data point we have is in 2020 down to 2024. Motorcycle registrations have gone down significantly, whereas so that doesn't make the numbers seem that bad, but as you can see, there is still a trend. Like we have 1 million Class M licenses in the state of Texas. Now, why are there so few registrations and so many motorcyclists or motorcycle licenses? That comes down to I wanted to ride a motorcycle back when I was 20. I'm now 50 and I don't want to anymore, so I don't have a motorcycle. So that's why you're going to see the big differences in that. All right, so these are the numbers for the unmatched data. In 2020, there were 70,000 records that didn't have a Class M with a registered motorcycle. That number from our data this year is up to 88,074. So a little bit about why that number is so different. It has to do with our data analysis of it. It has changed dramatically through the years. This year we started using, I believe it's called geocoding, and it's a way to better coordinate on a map where that location is to be able to verify. So, because when you're looking at an address, a PO box can be P.O.box or it can be PO box. So when you're matching, you have to look at all those different filters to be able to figure out what is what. The geocoding helps to take away some of that error. So therefore, as you can tell, our numbers, as we've gotten better, have gotten higher, but that's not to say that's a bad thing. That just means we're able to reach more people. So this is an example of one of the postcards that we send out. Every year we go over the data that you'll see on the right side. That's on the back of the postcard. So we review how many of the riders were killed in motorcycle crashes that were unlicensed in Texas for the previous year, and we update that information there. But this is what goes out. It is not addressed to anybody in particular. It is addressed to resident. So they don't know that we're singling them out. And in fact, this year after the mailing went out, it was like three days later, Kathy sends me a message where some guy had gotten one and he's like, please remove me from your mailing list. Sure, buddy, I got it.
Please go get your motorcycle license. That's the proper response next time. I'll send it. I'll be happy to send it.
But we have 9 different postcards that we send out, or as far as the proofs go. And then they're just mailed out into different mailing lists. TxDOT is the great ones that actually they print these out for us. And then we send them out through our postcard. Somebody had a question.
Yeah. Blake, do you have a question?
Yeah, why aren't we singling them out? Why not stating, hey, we do know that you have a registered motorcycle and not a license? Why are we not doing that?
Privacy.
Yeah, I was gonna say privacy, but also, like if what if you move? Then it's going to the wrong thing. So like regardless, if it doesn't end up at the correct address, or if it's not for the person that it's intended to, it is still a message that you need to be licensed. So it's more likely to be read if it's not addressed to anybody in particular. Does that make sense?
I mean, I
Yes,
just
sir.
personally, anything that says resident, I throw away. I don't even read it unless it's addressed to me.
Yeah. But I think it does, it's privacy information, especially because all of that is shared. Because, the whole PII,
Identifier.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know about that. If it's got a motorcycle on it, I'm gonna look at it.
Right. Yeah, the resident thing, I think is good, and that was part of the process as well. And I mean, I've actually seen one of these. I'm not sure how or why, but.
Same here. My family got them and everybody in my family had a license at the time. But
That's because our processing is getting better so that we can better figure out the accuracy.
I introduced myself as a recovering rider, coach, and instructor. One of the curriculum I taught was ATV. And you have to know that way back when Honda sold big wheels, the 3-wheeled ATVs, the Consumer Product Safety Commission gave them a choice. We're either going to shut you down or you can get all those things off of your floor. And you provide a course for a new equipment purchaser. And as long as they own that, every family member, as long as it's age appropriate, can also get trained for free. And people go through ASI, ATV Safety Institute, part of the MSF thing. But that's how instructors got paid. We showed up with the ATVs, and whoever showed up for the class is how we got paid. But that was an ultimatum from the Consumer Product Safety Commission. Why doesn't the state consider that with how many motorcyclists we lose every year to go back to the motorcycle industrial complex? That's not the right word. But tell them, you have to provide free training to the purchaser of a new product. And for their family members, as long as their family owns that motorcycle.
That's something interesting I've never heard of before. Have y'all discussed that previously?
Yeah, well, I too am a EDB coach. And, we quit doing that because we found out the free doesn't have any buy-in. And so I would show up with my ATV and I'd have a roster of 7 students thinking I was going to get paid my $25 for 7 students.
Right.
And I would have one and the other 6 would not show up, and I would call them, and grandma died and the uncle went someplace else, the dog ran away, and everything. And so without buy-in.
Yeah.
You're gonna have a very low rate.
No, it does.
Oh, no argument there. But the people that did show up, for as long as they own that vehicle, their family gets a free class.
And a lot of the manufacturers still have, if you buy, they will give you a rebate back on a course. So that is still there. They have the incentives.
Yeah.
Almost every major manufacturer has that incentive program with a window attached to it to where take a safety class, they're gonna give you some portion of that. So they're still supporting it.
I don't see why the state doesn't do that with motorcycles.
That That's a rabbit hole we're not ready to go down.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll let you know, there's another industry that does have that requirement.
Well,
The
we
state-
used to do it that way.
The state requires you to take training, but they don't pay for it. Same thing with driver's education. They require you to get a driver's education class, but they don't pay for it.
The manufacturer of the ATV has to pay for the training.
Yeah.
Not the consumer.
I made a note.
All right, we'll move on from
Back on
the,
licensing.
yeah, back on licensing. Okay, so we have looked back in fiscal year 2022. There were 3,731 postcard recipients from the ones that were sent in August of 2021 that matched, which means they received a license since 2020. In fiscal year 23, we reevaluated that mail out and found that 8% had become licensed. And then in this year, we did another reevaluation of the mail out, and almost 9.5% of those who received a postcard successfully matched with a Class M license by the end of 2024. So,
1 out of 10 is not a bad result.
right, 14.6% year over year improvement compared to fiscal year 22. So it's working. We're moving in the right direction as far as that goes.
Some of those cards are being read and acted on.
Yes, they are.
That's proof. Good.
So top counties by match percentage. This is one of those that you look at this and you're like, oh, well, you would think that it would be like the Dallas counties or the Harris counties or something like that. And while we do get a lot more matches from them, the volume that goes towards them is a lot higher. So the percentage is going to be lower. But good old Bandera City is the one, or county. Yeah, county. But then Fort Hood, I like that our military guys are responding and getting their motorcycles or motorcycle licenses. But what we do find is that proximity does matter. In the geographic information system analysis, individuals obtained a Class M license lived on average 2 miles closer to the training programs than those who did not, which that's something we know that accessibility is a big part of it.
That ties into some of the other accessibility stuff that we're looking at, and it's less than a mile difference. That's kind of that cutoff of, and it's around that 1.73 to 1.82 miles. Is like, I'm not willing to go that extra mile to get the license. So it's an interesting dynamic. So.
All right, so another thing that y'all have heard me speak on several times is our survey program, simply because it's one that we invite schools to invite their writer or their attendees to participate in. And this year we didn't have much success. We did all of the recruiting. So some of you may have seen the email on the right. That's the one we send out to the schools to try to send out to the people that you have registered. The flyer on the left is one that we handed out at the motorcycle forum, and it was also handed out at a ride day to try to get more people to participate. And then we had several social media posts that we sent out as well through the looklearnlive.org page and also through TTI's page. And out of all of the recruitment that we tried, we only received 11 applications and only 6 of them were eligible to complete them. And when I say that only 6 were eligible, I mean, one person sent an application at 3 a.m. on Saturday morning and their class was supposed to start at 7 a.m. on Saturday morning.
So they finished it.
I love my job, but I'm not gonna
That's when
be
they
up
finish their
all night
e-course,
responding. I'm not gonna be up all night responding to that.
They finally finished their e-course.
Right. So 6 before surveys were emailed, 1 person did not complete it, the other 5 did. And we actually did get all 5 of them to complete the after survey as well. But you can see as far as our social media posts, people saw it, they reacted to it. But unfortunately, we didn't get very many responses this year. However, the information was all the same. Like when in the before survey, they're like, yeah, I'm taking this course. Most of them didn't know how to ride. Most of them were taking a beginner's course. And afterwards they said, yeah, there was good value in this. The things that there's a free form towards the end. And it's like, what do you think could encourage more people? It's always cost related. Time and time again, reduce the cost, offer it for free. But that's something we found. Last year, we ended up doing a full. So from 2019 to 2023, we went back and did an evaluation of all of the survey results that we had. So in 2021, I think was the first year that I was in charge of the surveys, and we had over 100 people respond. Of course, the money was a lot higher for that one. We offered them $150 to complete the survey that year, so we got a lot of responses. But so we were able to go back and look at all that information, and it's the same. You know, like we have people who have been riding for a while but never wanted to ride the road. They've never ridden at all, or there were several of them that said, I got a ticket, so I need to get a license.
Good. So what, on the currently, their incentive, is it 25 or?
It was 50 for this one, so
Okay.
$20 for the before and 30 for the after.
Oh, yeah, 50 total, okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
But we closed this one in August, so it's officially done. I'm working on my final report for that one. And that's about it for me. The other thing that we have done this year is, some of you might have seen our website, like through looklearnlive.org. Why can I not say that today? We created a web page about licensing. So one of the things that we did is we sent that out to people and asked for feedback. And we have applied that feedback to the web page now, and that should be fully active and good to go. So that's the unlicensed to ride project that we've been working on. Any questions?
You said what? What did you, repeat what you just said? Because I missed it.
Some updates to the.
To the webpage.
Oh, okay.
The licensing.
Yeah.
Feedback and
So
put on
the training and, yeah, so there's two pages on the looklearnlive.org website on this, affiliated with this project. One of them is under the safety, and it's the unlicensed to ride. So it has information about the project itself. And then the other one is under training and licensing that has, because we didn't want to link them together necessarily, because the project isn't year round. But the information about getting trained and licensed is. So they're a separate page, and the training and licensing page was the one that was updated. And it actually has its own tab at the top of the website, so it should be fairly easy to find.
So I guess the first year y'all had a bunch of participants and you said the rebate was actually 150?
Yes, sir.
Was that like a 75, 75,
No, it was 50 and 100.
50 and 100?
Yes, sir.
But currently we're at 20 and 30.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
To increase that incentive, and I think we might get a better review on that.
Well, I was gonna, did the year before drop off as much? Because I know this last year, you think seems to like.
Yeah, last year I think I had 16.
And was it still the 50?
It was 40 last year, so it was less than this year's.
Okay.
But you're getting the same stats, basically,
Yes, sir.
regardless of how much we spend. So
Yes, sir.
spending more to get the same stats, just means we spend more to get the same stats.
Well,
No, she'd have a lot fewer participants.
Yeah.
The participants,
But the outcome of what they say, did I know anything? Was this worth it? No, I didn't. Yes, it was. Whether we pay $150 to get that, $40 to get that, we're getting the same stats.
but we're also, one of the biggest deals is the cost of the program. And this is one of the ways that the student gets to defray their costs by giving us that feedback. And so then it kind of makes it cheaper for the student. It's a way to use the motorcycle safety funds to indirectly get it cheaper for the student at the end, but they also have to put a little bit of feedback and give us stuff. So it helps the research side as well, because we know we're not just gonna cash a check straight to them for $50 out of the motorcycle safety fund. So that's where it's a good way to get that as well.
Are there any negative comments in the feedback over the years?
Generally, the negative feedback came from people who did not pass the course.
That's what I figured.
What? Oh. Unhappy customers.
I mean, we do
Yes,
have the
it happens.
caveat in there that when you're taking the course, like, the after survey, we want you to complete regardless of if you
Right.
passed the course or not. So that information is in there, and that's where we do get that feedback. And I rarely see negative feedback from somebody who is a new writer, unless they didn't pass the course.
Yeah, they're having too much fun, right?
Information they give compared to those that fail the course.
The questions are too generic as far as that goes.
I'm just curious if you can predict if this answer was this, that same person answered it in a.
No, I mean,
We had a negative attitude.
one of the questions that we have is, how likely are you to take another course? And we ask that in the beginning and in the after, or the before and the after. And that information, like there still wasn't a significant difference, but that might be the only thing that would be an indicator, and I haven't looked to see for sure. I mean, I could go back and look at last year's information where we did a comparison and see.
I would be very interested in that data as well. If that changed, interested in taking a course before and after.
Is there, and I've actually seen this, the invitation go out to several different groups, and I know other people have used it, but is there other things that do you think would help your program, from training sites, et cetera, or to get the information? Because obviously we'd like to see more involvement, right? We would
Right.
like to see some higher numbers, a little bit more data to kind of help.
Right.
And to increase those license, convert the unlicensed to licensed.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, it comes down to, we have to get participation. So, in previous meetings, some of the flack that I've gotten from some of the courses is that, like when they register for the course, it sends out an automatic email. And then if I follow up with this email, I don't want it to go to spam, and then I don't have any communication. So I don't know a way to combat that. Because that ultimately would, get our enrollment up a little bit, I think, if we have more participation. But, this year, all of our people came from one school.
All the responders.
Yep.
Well,
Because that is one of the things we ask, is what class you're taking.
Awesome.
And that is a way to verify for us after their course is completed, if they didn't upload the MSB 8,
right.
then we can contact the school and reach out and say, hey, did this person complete it? But yeah, so all of them this year came from one.
Obviously, we need to get a little bit more.
Cooperation from our schools.
Word out
Even if we put a link on.
The website or
on-
training,
on-
yeah.
On training's websites, or on the school websites, or on your automatic email that goes
Registration, yeah.
back, your automatic registration saying,
But I know
for
one time.
potential incentives, check this website.
Yes, and maybe the wording needs to change, because I know that there was a time when I was like, well, wait,
We're not.
we have a cap here where we can't, we can't fund every student that takes
Right.
it, obviously. But, oh, wait, we've reached our limit for the year of funding, so, but yeah, maybe a way to
There might be
have some generic wording that says, hey, for a possible incentive, survey participant.
Does Can-Am still provide the,
No, that ended.
the trikes for the free class?
It's
for
not a free
three-wheeler?
class, has been free for a while.
Yeah.
No, it's not free.
No, they had the discounted program for quite a while, but they're kind of dialing back.
So
this
are there
last
any
year.
manufacturers that are willing to, if it's a $55 before and after answer the question thing, are there any manufacturers that would be willing to pay that remaining difference between what I get as a check from the motorcycle safety fund and the cost of the course?
Not that I'm aware of.
And they're already putting out money. Many of them are putting out money, but you're having to buy. If you
Yeah.
buy something
If you
from
buy a
them,
bike,
then they're willing to pay for that. Kawasaki just stepped up and just started doing that for the first time in a long time.
yes.
Okay.
And Yamaha's been doing it forever.
So a voucher type
Yes.
system,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that the
They get-
responders would get a voucher.
Show that you bought a bike and show you took a course, and they will cut you a check.
Yeah,
Usually between 100 and 150. And I think Harley has the same.
Is that,
I
is
did it one
That's up
time.
to, that's
I
up to
thought it was
the,
like 50.
that information on the website?
I think they were only.
Yeah, unfortunately, the state of Texas is, when we used to get money from the state of Texas to keep the class costs lower. And to me, that education fund, or that the fund that we fund through our licenses, that would be the most effective way of using that money that I can see, is to bring down the cost of the course for the general public, which encourage them to take more classes.
Yeah.
And the state has been extremely resistant to that concept. We spend money, the DPS program with TDLR, and the money still sits there, but the ability, now, I don't have a problem with requiring schools to lower their prices if they're going to participate. But that, getting the price down a little bit, like I said, everything is price sensitive. It will drive demand in many cases. With people paying full price up front, we still have a 10% no-show rate.
Really?
Yes, when we started this program, they paid when they showed up. When we started this way back in the 80s, 70s and 80s, we had over a 50% no-show. And then we started to have, as an economic situation, we had to change. You pay up front. Even today, at $200 and something, we still have a 10% no-show.
Wow.
and the price checks I did last week was like 250, I think was the lowest one I could find in the state, up to 300 plus.
Wow.
I did a talk at equivalent of TTI for Florida down in Tampa about 8 years ago, and the guys in Miami were getting $600, $700, $800 a class. They had no ceiling.
Yeah.
It's whatever the market will bear.
Well, we don't either now.
Yep,
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
I'm glad to hear that.
There's no cap anymore. It is what the market will bear, and it's been, you can look at the different market areas across the states, and that's where you get that big fluctuation. In some of the metropolitan areas, larger metropolitan areas, they're
Right.
a little bit higher than some of the rules, but the rules have changed. You got to catch up.
I'm trying.
There's a
I'm
lot
trying
going
to
on.
listen more than I talk, believe me.
Kathy, real fast, I looked at my report from last year and how likely would you be to consider taking another course? The people who chose very likely or likely to take another course increased from 60% to 72% between the before and after.
Amazing. It's always over half of,
60 to 72%.
it's always been over half of them, but do we see them?
Right.
You know?
Right. I couldn't get away the ARC.
Yeah.
Every student that we talk to says, oh yeah, we want to come back and take your advanced class. We're averaging about 7%.
Right.
On a good day.
Yeah, it's tough. That's.
I got my license, I can ride, I know what to do. Learn down the
We had that conversation earlier today. It's like.
We have 10 people on our waiting list for the ARC. We told them we were going to offer a class, and we do it uniquely because the people I work with will teach for me for free for that class because it's fun. And yet, when we call those people, they're not available.
Yep.
They're interested, but they're not available. And the last time we did this, we charged $50 to be donated to a charity of your designation. And we couldn't make the class go.
Yeah.
I don't know how you drive it.
Yeah, hard to give it away.
Well, you have people saying the two words you never want to hear, I ride good enough. You hear that all the time.
We'll keep looking into this. I love the conversation, and I'd love to continue the brainstorming on how we can increase the number of people engaged in taking courses, because it's definitely needed.
So I was talking with the program director for the motor vehicle in Virginia yesterday. And in 23, they decided to start really pushing to get their people licensed, and they actually did a 15-second video and started promoting it across the state. And they saw an increase in people coming to the one-day class. And they're keeping up their statistics. And after that, they also saw a 25% decrease in motorcycle-related deaths. And then they started promoting the advanced classes, and they're seeing now to 33% reduction in deaths. They're giving them away. Now, the problem with that is, even though they're free, they're still not having people sign up. And so they're changing how to sign up. They were giving you a chance to sign up a month in advance, 60 people in a class, 37 show up because the dog died or something happened. So now they're shortening, so they're opening up the classes 2 weeks ahead to see if that will make a change in people showing up. We're talking classes, that class is $350 for a circuit rider course class. It's all day long. And you're getting it for free. And you get maybe a half to a third actually show up for a free class
And that's Virginia?
in Virginia.
I'll be attending the State Motorcycle Safety Association Summit next week, where I'll be seeing a lot of the different state reps, motorcycle safety people across the country. And these are some of the ideas that I want to get from them, so I'll track.
Information, contact him. He's a wealth of knowledge.
Very cool.
Thank you, Crystal. Appreciate it. Good job.
There you go.
Keep up the good work. And, all right, Kathy, you got the next.
Yeah,
Stuff.
our first thing up is that this year, one of the things we did is we took all of our, I don't know how I can make the video thing see me. They took all of the outreach programs that we had and we translated them to Spanish. So now we have, I'm not even gonna try to say that in Spanish, but the Drink, Ride, Lose, taking the time, take the course, Gear Up, the coalition and the website information sheet, Look Twice for Motorcycles, and Riding in Work Zones were all translated into Spanish. And then in addition to translating into Spanish, if y'all remember, a while back, we redid the pledge, I Ride for Tomorrow, for motorcyclists, and we had it in a pledge sheet, and that was kind of a pain. So now we have this little business card size of the pledge sheet. So the pledge is on the front and all of the little check marks I pledged to on the back and a place for them to sign and date. And it's now in a business card. So schools, if you want to have these to give out to your new students, as part of your schools, part of your classes, TSSs, I sent you all a email a while back and said, if you're interested, they're coming, let me know. I only heard back from 2. So I'm going to be here today and tomorrow. If somebody wants me to send these some out to you, those of you that are here today, if you want to take some back with you, we just got a big print of our updated materials. So yay. Next up, though, one of the things we did was for our social media outreach was the biker bump. And see if I can make it work.
Move over, Punch Buggy. There's a new game in town.
Biker Bump.
It's called Biker Bump. And it's not just fun, it's smart.
Biker Bump.
Because kids who see motorcycles grow into be drivers who see motorcycles.
So maybe we can start a biker bump phenomenon. That went out through our social media and it was one of the big hits. It's also got a link to it on the website under the resource videos. Start biker bump, share it on your social media, share it with your groups. And hopefully that played for you. For those of you that were online, did you all get the video or the audio for that?
Yes, it worked.
I could hear it.
Perfect. Another thing that came out this year, for those of you that attended or went back and looked at the motorcycle safety forum that we had in May, that was in May, wasn't it? Hong Zhang from Snell Foundation was our keynote speaker, and she also had a presentation that was very highly attended and a lot of questions, and a lot of conversation. Our Texas Transportation Institute folks at the communications reached out to her and asked about doing a podcast for Thinking Transportation on helmets. And so there is a Thinking Transportation podcast with Hong and myself on helmets, safety, how to build how the Snell, it's really hard for me not to say Snell Memorial Foundation, because that's the way it started and that's the way I've known it for years. But the Snell Foundation, what their objective is in encouraging manufacturers to build safer helmets and their testing standards, and then what some of the helmet benefits are of wearing helmets, types of helmets, and what some of the rules are in Texas. So that podcast is out there as well. And I asked our communications to put a link to it on the website, and she sent me an email right before this meeting and said it was there. So I haven't confirmed, but the link to that Thinking Transportation should also be under the announcements at the bottom of the main page. Our next, we are coming to the close this month of this fiscal year 25 for this motorcycle safety education outreach support, motorist awareness contract ends this month. So we're looking forward to 2026. We do not have confirmation for that contract yet. So as soon as we have that, we will know what we're doing. There was initially a plan to have the NHTSA assessment next year, and that is not going to happen. So we have been speaking with TxDOT, and we are looking to propose again for 2027 to do an NHTSA assessment. And as many of you know, on our website is the strategic action plan for motorcycles that goes through 2027. So that hopefully we can get that NHTSA assessment to help us get that outside view of where we're doing great things and where we can make improvements that will help guide that next 5-year strategic action plan development. So we are hoping that everything will come through very well, smoothly, no hiccups, and we will be having our next coalition meeting in FY26, probably November, December timeframe, first quarter. And then also our task force will be continuing next year. Task force has kind of been, all of this has kind of been, task force is a 2-year thing. We've had some people that have been on there for the last 4 years and want to continue, and we appreciate that, but we always have room for more that want to dig in and do a little bit of extra time and help us guide work through motorcycle safety. Some of the discussions that we had today were great, and having those kind of discussions and then problem solving. What can we do? How can we affect? What outreach can we do? Who should we focus on? Where should we focus? Those messages to try to improve motorcyclist safety and reduce those fatalities on our Texas roadways. So please, if you're interested, let us know. Let me know. We'll be going forward.
Come back and join us.
And bring a friend. It's always a bring a friend.
Yes, ma'am.
Happy, this is Rain. I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
How may we propose topics for consideration by the group?
Right now.
Okay. On that note, there's 2 particular issues that really caught my attention in recent months. One of them is the social media challenges. TikTok, Instagram, what have you. I have an article, Kathy, I sent it over on Tuesday to find out if anybody wanted to contribute any kind of quotes or anything to it. But one of the sentences in this pending article is motorcyclists are uniquely vulnerable to distracted drivers. A 2025 report from the Motorcycle Safety Foundation highlights that riders are 27 times more likely to be involved in a fatal crash caused by distracted drivers compared to those in cars. Now, this is the result of those challenges that are happening on social media. Further, I will share this in chat. This video has 884,000 likes, and it's had more than 2 million views. And if you look at his, hold on, I've got to do it so it doesn't show up. It's a just Instagram link. So anyway, based upon the numbers of this guy, this video with 800,000 plus likes, more than 2 million views, if you look at his profile, it gives you, why does this keep doing this? It's one to like, hold on, I'm trying to get it to show up in chat as an actual full URL. He could be making up to 25,000 and it's not showing up. I apologize.
That's okay. I don't think we want to continue to view and give him more money.
No. You have to click on his link and go buy merch. But the point being, with that kind of numbers, with 3% ratio on e-commerce sales, he could have brought in 25,000 from this one link. Kathy, I'll email you the link. I can't get it to show up in chat correctly.
Okay.
This is the link, and it's coming to you right now. And if you can share it from your side, but he is racing a car. And the commentaries being left on this Instagram post are just shocking. This was so fun to watch. I need to see more. What bike's he riding? You know, people are loving this stuff, and the digital creators are monetizing it. So my question is, we can raise awareness until the cows come home, but how do you combat an issue when you have this new social media with all the GoPros and what have you, and people have figured out how to monetize their adventures? And whether it's a car or a motorcycle, and then they're just leading viewers to their social media platforms and their e-commerce stores to generate money for them. But meanwhile, our lives are online. So I'm really curious about that. If we could foster more communication about, trying to stay at least even with what's going on in social media, if not a step ahead of them.
One thing I will say, if it's an Instagram link, that's something that I can deal with. If it's a TikTok, I can't touch it with a 10-foot pole.
Right.
So, and so I don't see TikTok. I don't have TikTok on any of my devices.
Neither do I.
It's if I see things, it's things that have been reposted in other places. But you're right, it is an issue, and it is even just the ones that are. I saw one on another platform where the motorcyclist was splitting lanes and riding faster. He wasn't riding super fast more than, but he was cutting. And a car changed lanes, was signaling and changed lanes and hit him, and he didn't go down. He managed to keep it up, and he pulled over and he was shaking, and the thing was, I was doing something stupid too. I was riding reckless too, and it wasn't just the other guy. So,
well, it's like the video for this article that's pending with the 27% increase for the riders. This girl is screaming and trying to sing along to a song, and she completely wrecks. You could tell the car flipped. And the very first thing she did, is all on camera, is she looked for her camera to make sure it caught everything.
Well, it's kind of like a train wreck theory though, right? Like
Exactly.
you come across a train wreck and you're gonna stare. But if the train's just passing, you're not gonna look at it. And unfortunately, social media has allowed that to get worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. Like we don't have to specifically look for train wrecks anymore, because all you have to do is open up social media and there's 17 of them right there in front of you. How do you combat that?
Oh, no.
Because that's what draws the traffic, like you said. And as they're monetizing these and they're trying to get more people to their page, that's the way they're doing it.
Meanwhile, we're riding down the road and we have no idea we have somebody coming up behind us that's doing this.
Correct.
I would think the Attorney General would have to show cause and effect and actually take someone to court to get them to remove things like that. There would have to be a lawsuit where someone is harmed.
Possible.
I think there've been some lawsuits on the platforms and I haven't paid that close attention to them as to whether or not they should let things happen on their platforms. But that's not one that we can necessarily, but I think it's right. It's gonna take, I don't know. I'm wondering, I'm thinking of the one that was bragging that he got across the state of Colorado in like 2 hours or something.
Right.
And ended up getting arrested, because he posted it. But.
Well, and Kathy, that raises a good point, because when you see videos that show dangerous behavior, you can report them, and they may not take it. You can report them as dangerous behavior, but if they don't, even if they don't take it down, it's logged, and if they get enough of those reports, they do get taken down.
So who are we reporting it to, Kim?
It's on Facebook. It's on any of the platforms, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and you're reporting it to the platform that this video, it goes against community guidelines.
Interesting.
Wasn't there in curriculum a while back, it was talking about taking a corner at 35 miles an hour. So the next time I go through the corner, I'm going to try 40 miles an hour. And the next time, 45 miles an hour. Until I get to the point where I have so much hubris, I'm so confident that I can go through that corner at 75 miles an hour, I run off of the road. But every time I'm successful, it builds up my, what was that? Confidence, or I don't know about competence, but I would think that young people need to be aware of that. Just because you were able to do it last time, it's risky business if you want to try it again.
And I think that has a lot to do, that's a similar thing that we've talked about with impaired writing is, yeah, I had a beer with lunch and I got home okay the last time. So next time it's 2 beers or we're going on the poker run but when the average BAC for motorcyclists in crashes is 0.15 or higher, that's more than double the legal limit, or it's right at double the legal limits.
That's 45 standing up.
Yeah.
And that's the average, which means somebody was way, way higher, and enough of them were way, way higher that the ones that are just having the one beer.
Are there public announcements, PSAs that discuss drinking and riding or taking unnecessary risks on motorcycles that we could share on our own social media?
Looklearnlive.org has a lot of those.
Yep.
Yeah, we put out at least 20 posts on each platform per month with some kind of safety message, and especially around the holidays, like this one we had a drinking and riding one. And yes, we encourage folks to repost those on their own social media pages. So yeah, if you go onto the looklearnlive.org website, down near the bottom of the homepage are links to all of the social media. And so you can click on those and follow and like and comment, interact with them, and that helps. And the more people that interact with those, the higher they stay at the top of the page when the next person goes to look on that particular platform.
So they also have
helps us as well.
fact sheets and infographics and different things like that, like the one that I shared earlier in my presentations. All of those resources are gonna be there. And I looked earlier today, I'm pretty sure there's a couple of them that involve alcohol as well.
Yeah, there's a couple of little videos on there too, so. All right, thank you, Rain, and thank you, Kim, for that input.
You're welcome. Well, this discussion was happening. I was doing an AI search on if it's reported to the social media platforms. regarding their terms of service, could this be described as self-harm? Because the riders are speeding and they are riding very recklessly around law-abiding riders and drivers.
Well, I saw I got struck in the face with a board that was sticking out of truck when he was riding too close to it. That would be self-harm. I don't know if it's purposeful or not, or if they consider that intent.
More of a reckless.
Reckless intent? Oh, but that is something that we can, I jotted that one down too. We can look into that a little bit more.
Thank you. Yeah, because self-harm, they're saying that self-harm, it typically does not extend to this. However, the intent matters, the context on the platforms. It can be flagged as dangerous behavior or graphic content. So it looks like there is a little bit of leeway there.
Dangerous behavior sounds like it might be the way to go.
Although generally when I see posts that say graphic content, photo hidden, click here to view content, it's the first thing I do. I'm like, click here, click here.
I was gonna say the same thing, Crystal, that usually draws people in. It's like, can I see the train wreck or not?
Yeah.
Well, I want to see it because it can't be unseen. All right, any other topics that anybody else would like to hear more about? Joel, is there a possibility of keeping the meeting open and discuss the new MSF waiver? Let me think on that, Joel.
We discuss. That's my question. Is there anything even worth discussing other than just a venting process? I don't think we need to go down that rabbit hole, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't know that this is the proper platform
And
for that,
MSF has their own.
but we will.
MSF is hosting their own later today.
Oh, is it?
Go to be
See that?
tonight. Didn't do it last
Okay.
night.
Yeah. Tonight, I think is the.
I'd like to ask again about the,
So is there a possibility that there may be fewer opportunities for training people to get their license if the waiver is not dealt with?
We are already on a shortage of instructors in the state of Texas. And we are doing multiple things to try to incentivize and encourage riders to take courses. There's a course starting in less than 2 weeks that I think is pretty full. And then there's another one coming up, another one this fall didn't make, but it got moved into the spring. So there's another training course happening then. So we are trying to increase the number of instructors in the state of Texas. We do not know what's going to happen yet on this other, and I agree that this is probably a conversation that needs to be held with the MSF and not in this,
No, I see it as an opportunity for fewer training opportunities if sponsors choose not to take on the risk.
It's not for sponsors, it's for instructors.
Well, as a rider
Yes.
coach?
Yeah.
Rider coach.
It's a rider coach, and that's why I said this. I'll just leave this at this. What Joel is asking about is a waiver from MSF for MSF rider coaches or instructors that they have to sign in order to continue with MSF. It has come up in the last couple of weeks. There is great discussion going on all over the country. This isn't the right platform, but there is apparently check your emails if you are MSF instructor or rider coach to see about the webinar that they're hosting tonight.
Last night and tonight.
Last night, tonight is to repeat. Tonight's a repeat of last night.
If you missed last night, you can remake it tonight.
I didn't get the notices, so I need to find out what happened there. So that's kind of where I want to table that particular
I
discussion.
do have one question about the future classes.
What
Because
future-
if I were a future RCP student, not knowing what I have to sign once I graduate.
That was one of
I
the,
would be less than happy spending the money coming from BFE to here or wherever and realize, oh, now I have to sign this.
yeah,
So,
that's one of the questions that I know was raised with, I know has already been raised. I don't know what the answer is yet because I haven't been on that side of
But
it.
there are other curriculum providers that do not have a requirement to sign a waiver similar to that. Like
He has to sign something else.
They're
All right.
they're all gonna do something. You had a question.
Yeah, I did. On the NITS review, this is the second time
It's been
that it
postponed.
has been postponed. I'd like to know, number one, how is it proposed? Reasons given for postponing it again?
The reasons for it postponing this time were, there's also a just, impaired, I believe the impaired or distracted to drive. There's one, they're doing another NITS assessment next year. And so they.
Impaired driving is coming next year.
Okay, so the impaired driving, assessment is happening next year, and they were concerned about having two of them back to back. They just finished the pedestrian bicycle NITS assessment, this last month, and they'll be reporting out on that later this month. And they're just able, I think after going through that process and realizing what all was involved, they were concerned about having two of them during the same year.
Isn't that always going to be the case? So,
That's one of the questions I've asked.
yeah.
But
And how are those funded? Do they come out of the motorcycle safety
no,
fund?
they are funded through the 402 funds through TxDOT, which is a pass-through from NHTSA funding.
All right. Can they be funded through the motorcycle safety fund?
That is a question I'd need to raise with TDLR, who oversees that.
So I don't think it was a funding issue, it was a workload issue.
It was a workload
From, which, I mean, my standpoint is like, I'm sorry, but you know what? I mean, sooner or later, we're gonna get this done.
Well,
You know,
yeah.
we had people lined up ready to come down and do it and, funded and ready to go. And, now we're 2 years later and still not.
Here we are again.
Anywhere, yes.
And one of the things that we can do to help TxDOT on this is having a very, very robust coalition and task force that have those subject matter experts that can feed in a lot of the information. Now, TxDOT's still gonna have a good lift on program management. TDLR is gonna have a lift on program management, and training. But we have this great group of people out here that want to see this happen, and it's just getting everybody in and committed to say, we'll do the heavy lifting. And we here at TTI, we will do the logistical heavy lifting to try to get it done.
Who does the defense of it? When we're told that, no, we're not going to do it, can you argue with them? Can you go in there and plead your case? Do we?
Yes, we do.
Okay, and the only thing we hear is no. I'd like to see that defended to the state's motorcyclists.
Yeah, I think they need a little nudge from some political person, huh?
Well, sure, sure.
So we,
I know what a state administrator.
we will continue to fight that battle. We will continue to request and provide the guidance and knowing, you know, one of the things to help convince them is that we have that backing from this body to get the work done.
Well,
And we have the desire from this body to have it done.
I think, you know, and what was the year on the last one? I mean, we're looking at, I mean, the thing is so old. I mean, it's overdue. It's overdue.
Overdue.
It's 11 years. Has it been 11 years since they've looked at impaired driving? Exactly. I mean, that's my point is like, oh, okay, but we have to do this one because it's a big national campaign. And I get it. It is important. And we have a motorcycle element that, you know, we're not doing as motorcyclists, but it's impaired driving. So we need to make sure that motorcyclist because we have 30% of our fatalities are impaired driving.
Well,
Right?
one of the things that we use out of the NHTSA assessment is we use their data to propose on grants for future
Right.
years.
Yeah.
So that's another reason that it's beneficial on our side, at least.
And that's what other states do, is like, I have an NHTSA assessment, the state administrator, it's an assessment, then they go in and they propose and they have that justification of, this came from my assessment, this is what we need to do.
And it gets
And it goes
funded.
forward, and that's what I'm saying, if we can get it feeding into our strategic action plan, that's where that comes from.
We're using 11-year-old information, which is
Yeah.
not even applicable to what things are today.
Yeah, we had the whole world went upside down about 5 years ago, and we aren't living in the same world anymore.
Well, we don't even same agency over.
And that's what I'm saying. It's like, it's a totally different game. This really
Right.
needs to be, you know, those items need to be addressed that, you know, the last one was 11 years ago.
I hear you.
Yeah. No, we're preaching to the choir, but
So,
if we need to be doing something else, then that's something that we need to be,
and
trying to
we,
get done.
we are a few minutes over time. And I do want to be respectful of people's time. But is there anything else that you all want to hear about or anything that's happening in your area?
So I think somebody, I don't know if you're still on from the Tri-County Toy Run. Do you want to announce and make sure that information is out there for everybody?
There's not really much to announce other than the event will take place on the 7th of December. We're still doing the planning.
Okay.
We meet at Little Texan in Coppers Cove, and you can check the date and time on our Facebook page or on the Tri-County Toy Run website.
Thank you. Anybody else? Because that was December 7, right?
2 or 7?
Yes, ma'am. 7 December,
7.
Pearl Harbor Day.
Okay, that's what we're.
You're right.
You're
That
right.
was my grandparents' wedding day too. Anyway, anything else?
Please, if you have other topics or issues or stuff, please send them in to Kathy. Come join us for task force meetings, and thank you all for your attendance and input today. Ride safe. Till next time.
I just dropped my
Email.
email in the chat. So thank you. Thank you, everybody. Ride safe and have a great rest of your week.
Thanks, Kathy.
Yeah. And then Kim, if you can stop.
Yeah, stuff. Okay. I didn't. They didn't want to. TDLR did. Believe it or not. I sat in a meeting with Francis and Dr. Ray from DPS. Going back and forth and saying, I don't want it, you want it?